When I bought this Testarossa project for the princely sum of £16,000, little did I know how much it would change my life. It's solely responsible for creating my YouTube channel, subsequently getting me out of a boring career in IT and doing something that I love every single day. A bare car and 2 crates full of parts. Every car DIYer's dream. I threw it together and had so much fun in the process. It appeared in magazines, YouTube channels and became world famous. But a £16,000 Testarossa surely wouldn't last long, right? Well, in fact, it's lasted a few more years than I expected, but now the time has come where it's long overdue some major TLC. Now, it's quite rare for it to be quite so sunny here in the UK, and on the 3 days of the year that the sun does make an appearance, well, I like to treat the cars to a car show. And despite the Ferrari looking mighty fine and all restored, when the sun's out, despite this noise, there's only one car to take to the show, and that is the Ratarossa. As you can hear, we've got some serious backfire. I don't know if that's picking it up on the mic, but this car is running like a dog. Currently the Testarossa has a few problems, and with this car not looking like it's going to be attending any shows too soon, I need to fix it. And I need to fix it really fast, because the next show is this weekend and I would really love to get a rat out. But before we roll our sleeves up and get dirty, I'm going to show you a really cool bit of kit that's just arrived that will do the complete opposite and keep everything shiny and clean. This is the Giraffe Tools Grand Falls G20 retractable pressure washer. While I assemble it, we've got a choice to make. Which Ferrari do we clean? They're all very dirty, but I think today the 308 has been sat over here gathering dust for a long time and it deserves a good old clean up. At the back here, we've got a very handy 180-degree rotating bracket. The stylish, robust casing is both long-lasting and durable, but what I love the most is that Giraffe Tools have really thought out products. All the attachments sit here on the wall, so you're not wasting time looking through cupboards to find them. But my favorite feature by far is this, the auto retractable hose, which you can customize to any length you want. Up to 20 meters away. You can kiss goodbye to messy hose reels like this, cluttering up the floor. So let's put it all to the test. I'm going to give the Ferrari a quick clean, first using the bottle attachment to spray the Ferrari with snow foam. The powerful pressure washer with its very strong motor, 180-degree nozzle rotation, makes light work of it. I then let that soak and then simply click and twist to switch nozzles, and it's time to rinse off those suds. The long retractable hose means it's easy to get around the whole car, and the G20 makes light work of the whole job. So grab yourself an awesome Grand Falls G20 today, and by using my link in the description, I've managed to get you an extra 10% off your order, making this an absolute bargain. Now I want to say a massive thanks to Giraffe Tools for sponsoring today's video, but also for creating a really cool product like this. Well done, guys. Now let's get back to the build. Actually, no, we're not. I'm going to clean the garage floor first with this, because it's so cool. And then I'll come back to the build. We've had a little move around, a little bit of a tidy up in here, and I'm going to demonstrate just how bad this is. Trust me, you are very fortunate that you're watching this from behind the screen. Otherwise, you'd need a gas mask for this bit. Check this out. All right, so we're going to fire up the Testarossa, and this is a cold start. Pretty bad, right? And it's cut out. I'm going to get it running and get it through its cold start cycle, which is about 2 minutes. And while I do that, I want you to listen out carefully, because as it goes through its cold start system, it then switches to its normal running and it improves drastically. Have a little listen. Tell me what you think. Stood outside because it's gassing me out. And there you go. You can hear it. It's changed. Give it a little bit of gas. decided to use a heat gun to probe the temperature.
We're getting 121, yeah, and that is on that white piece here. Right, we're going to do the same on the other side. There's a white piece down there, and that is 197. 200. Wow.
Hopefully my microphone picked that up so you can see and hear exactly what I'm getting right now on the car. And it seemed from initial simple investigations that this bank was running a heck of a lot smoother than this bank over here, which was coughing and spluttering. So that is where we're going to start my investigation. Before we start, I need to explain a couple of things that we've already done on this car. A couple of weeks back, I installed 6 brand new spark plugs in this bank here. But I'm sure you're asking, why did I only install 6? Well, a long time ago, I ordered up the full service kit for this car, including cam belts, which are vastly overdue. I'm going to come to that later on because I need your bright ideas on how we're going to accomplish the cam belt service on this car. But within that kit, there were 12 spark plugs. Somehow, I've lost 6 of them. So we've installed 6. I've got another 6 on order, which are going to arrive later on today. In the meantime, there's a few other things on this car that I want to show you that also need addressing today. Now you can't really see it at the moment because the car was not running long enough for oil to heat up, but you can see these patches. That is oil leaks from this car. And if you come in here, you can see, especially down here, it's all caked up with oil. It was quite oily here. I did have a wipe up a couple of days ago. But I think what's happening, if you come there and you look on the other side as well, over here, you can see again, similar thing, it's quite oily. And I think we've got a seal somewhere in here in this transfer case. Remember on this Testarossa, we've got the engine, you've got the gearbox underneath. And I think what's happening, we've got a seal that's gone and we're getting a bit of oil coming out of here. Now it's not affecting my clutch, which is quite strange, but I do think we've got distributor cap there. And over there, we've also got coil packs and we need to open up those and see if we've got any oil inside as well. First things first, let's just disconnect the battery. Now under here on the Testarossa, we've got a little kind of trap door and that is our battery. But we also on the wall here have a cut-off switch. So there we go, let's cut that. As you can see, there's a little bit of oil there around the outside. The actual contacts themselves don't look like they're contaminated. I'm going to give it a clean up and just clean up all those contacts and also clean up the arm as well. Now this gasket that you can see is intact. It feels a little bit brittle here and it's very dirty. It's caked in oil. So I will order a couple of these up and change these as a precaution. I'm just going to use a little bit of emery paper, but wet and dry. Now I'm very carefully going to use my paper and just clean up those 6 contacts and make sure they're good. We're also going to make sure we've got a good spring there in the middle, which is that's working. Try and clean up that contact point as well. I'm going to hit that with a bit of cleaner. Now I'm just going to leave that to drain and dry naturally face down while I get on with this side. That one is looking even more dirty inside, so I'm going to give that a clean up as well. All right, let's just see if that has made any kind of improvement. Here we go. No. So that's definitely not improved it. On to the next test. So we cleaned up the cap. We're now going to check to see if we're getting spark from the cap to the plugs. To do that, we're going to use some of these tester lights. So here's the plan. We're going to move all 6 spark plug leads from our cylinders. I'm then going to remove this extension like so. And then what we're going to do, in place of that, we're going to put our little tester light. So that's going to go to our spark plug. That is going to go in place of our extension. And then when we fire the car, we should hopefully see 6 pretty lights there. I'll turn the lights out in here so it's dark. So that's going to go in there. This is going to be the tricky bit, getting that on the spark plug because it's quite deep. All right, slight problem. The spark plug on the Testarossa is it doesn't have a little cap on the end, and you've got the extensions there. You can see inside. They just slide on in place, and you can just hear it sit on there nicely. Okay, like that. However, the tester light requires to have the end part like that. Luckily, I've kept the ones off of my old plugs, so we're going to put those on there. Just means we're going to have to remove all of the plugs, put the caps on before I can fit the tester lights. Okay, so that's all 6 done, and I've tried to position them up here so we can see all 6 of the lights clearly when I fire up the car. It's extremely bright, so I'm going to turn out all the lights and hopefully we can see this a little bit better. Only for a second, otherwise I'm going to gas myself out with the Ratarossa. I'm just going to have to do this quite carefully because every time I move, my rear link security lights turn on the cameras. So I'm going to fire up the car and then stand still for a second. All right, so all 6 of those seem to be sparking quite nicely, pretty uniform. Maybe one was just slightly off, but that could just be where it's arcing against the engine, and definitely not enough to cause our problem at the back of the car. So we're moving on to the spark plugs, which aren't here yet. I'm going to nip out, get some lunch, and well, postman is due very soon. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I need your help and your bright ideas with something that's long overdue on this Testarossa, and that is the cam belts. Basically, every single time I drive this car, it's like playing Russian roulette because, well, if they snap, it's going to cost me an absolute fortune. To put it in perspective, the belts on this, which are rubber, will cost me about, I don't know, £50 maximum. To rebuild the engine, what, £10,000 plus? So it's stupid. But the dilemma I have is I have to be able to get the body off of this car in order to get to the belts, which are at the front of the engine here. So the way it works on the Testarossa is you lift the body off of the rear cradle with the wheels, everything sits in there, and then you work on the cam belts and all the servicing items. But can't quite figure out in my essentially a glorified home garage how we are going to get this body off the Testarossa. Jacks aren't going to be big enough. Quick jacks wouldn't be big enough. So we're looking at other options. My mate Rory came up with a great idea, a forklift. That would make an amazing video. But I really need to be able to get it off the car, do the cam belts and a lot of other work at the same time. So really I could do with a lift over here. But that also comes with dilemmas, because if I put a lift there, then we lose this middle space. And when the Testarossa's parked right over there, we can get a third car in there. So that's not ideal if we got a 2-post lift. Now I have seen another option where we got a 1-post lift. And if we get a really good 1-post lift, we can actually leave a car above it. So by losing a space, we actually gain another car space up there. And maybe still, we might even be able to still park a car there, which would be great. But let me know your thoughts on that. I'm not really, it doesn't sit well, single post lift with me. I just don't trust them. But maybe someone's got some good experience. For another, how we're going to get the body off, let me know in the comments below. All right, so one of the major problems on the Testarossa, as I'm about to demonstrate, is this. Try and turn it. Okay, nothing happens at all. So I think we had a combination of 3 major things that are all common problems with the Testarossa. Number 1 is the solenoid and the starter motor. Now those have been replaced. We've done that in a previous video. But also the wiring up here, that is quite common. So as you can see, I've repaired all of that. The second issue was this connection block right down there, that red one. Now what that enables this car to do, so when you're doing a cam belt service, basically this whole subframe along with the wheels all come out of this car, and that's kind of a quick release connection block to like break the power from the rear of the car to the front. So you've got a cable that runs from the front all the way through to the engine block that comes up to the starter motor, and that is your kind of block where you can just unattach it and you can take all of your engine kind of subframe off. But the third thing, which I've just discovered, is this wire down here, this white wire. Now at some point someone had patched something into the middle of this, you can see it here, and they'd soldered it together and then they'd removed it, and then, well, they didn't really attach it very well and fix it. So this obviously is very split at the moment because I've been doing that, but when I just found it, it was kind of touching together like this. Now I think what was happening when we shut this door, it was pushing this cable like so and pushing it together, so there's enough to occasionally send juice to the back of the car. This is all to do with the starter motor, by the way. And then when I've opened it, the car wouldn't start again. So very temperamental. I am now going to fix that using some connectors here, and we're just going to see if that fixes the problem once and for all. Now the fuse boards on the Testarossas and all this era of Ferrari are always very iffy. So I'm just going to remove that old connector there, and we're just going to clean up those 2 wires, attach everything together, and fingers crossed this is going to fix it. And now we're going to use our solder connector. All right, so they're pushed together nicely. Now we've just got to be very careful and just melt that. All right, let's see. We're ready. All right, let's hope that fixes it once and for all. Guess what? We've had a delivery. My spark plugs have turned up. Now I had to order 8 of these because they came in batches of 4 to keep the cost down. But I am a little bit skeptical about these. Now, this is the plugs that I put in 2 weeks ago on the other side of the car, right? These are exactly the same plugs. Now, these came in batches of 4 again, in a nice little box. I haven't got the box, but you can see the packaging is very vibrant. Now, number 1, all of these came individual, which, okay, that happens. But I don't know if they've changed the packaging of this, but to me, this doesn't look at all as vibrant. This is the plug that came out of the car. We're going to compare those. Look at the packaging there. Everything online that I can see has this type of packaging. And, you know, like I say, It's very, very clear. All the writing's very clear on it. Now, if you look at the side of that, it's really difficult to read it. Now, I might be completely barking up the wrong tree here. Now, that's also very kind of bluish. And the other thing that makes me very suspicious is you can see the picture of that plug. It's got the little end cap up here, right? None of these plugs have turned up with an end cap. And there you go. That is a new plug, right? No end cap. I guess that happens. I'm sure some of you will make their comments to say that you've received them like that. Just seems very strange to me that on the picture, on both that one, you can't really see on the old style one, but yeah, it looks like it had the end cap on that as well. All 8 of those, no end cap. Now, packaging is very suspect, no end cap. I just had a little look online. There's a couple of other little things on here. Japan should have a capital J with a dash across the top. If you look at my other ones, see, that's got a dash on top of the J. M5, that's just the batch number. Let's have a look at that one. M4ZP, M4ZP. It looks good, all the writing's okay. The thread is okay. The other thing it said is about this bit here and the angle of that going over the top. That's a bit more of a curve. Let's see if we can compare the two next to each other. Yeah, it looks, that's got more of a curve over. Very strange, very odd. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments below. I wonder if anyone from NGK can get involved. I've got 2 spare plugs here that we're not going to be using. I'm happy to send these off to be tested. Now, to give you an idea, I paid just under £70 for these. To get a set of 12, it would cost me just over, slightly over, with delivery, £100. Now, if you look at Ferrari prices, £16.53 each, times that by 12, plus the VAT, almost £240, which is why I got these. Now, these came from an eBay seller who has very high, thousands and thousands, like I think it was over 40,000 feedback, 100% feedback. But this just seems a bit suspect to me. So have we got dodgy plugs in the car, or are we actually about to put some dodgy plugs in here? I would have said that the new packaging that's just arrived is more likely to be the dodgy ones than this very bright packaging of the old one. Now, I might be completely wrong here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And, well, if that is a dodgy plug, I'm going to be putting it in the car. Let's see how that behaves. Okay, so I'm going to install all 6 new plugs here simply because the old ones all have to come out because we've got to remove these caps anyway. So I'm just being lazy. I'm going to do the whole lot and see what happens. All right, all 6 new plugs are in. Now, they went in fine. No issues so far. I'm just going to add some fuel to the car though because we're running quite low. And that is another job on the list. We need to get that into the filler cap here in the rear wing. So it's not so risky when we fill it at a fuel station and the engine's hot. We've got manifolds and everything down there. And we got a major fire hazard risk on this car. Always got to put a rag down here. I'll keep that in the car just in case whenever I have to fill up at a fuel station. Then that and some gloves. One man job is tricky. So we're going to get a funnel. Just gonna cable tie it here. There we go. And then we'll gradually put it in. Moment of truth. Let's see if the new plugs have made any difference. I don't think it's made any difference at all. I've still got the splutter on this side of the car. Now there's a couple more sanity checks I want to do here quickly. Number one was when I was taking one of the plugs out, both out with the old one and in with the new one, so it's definitely not the plug. It was a little bit tighter than the other 5 plugs. Now, I'm going to have a little look in there with the scope. Shouldn't really make any difference unless the thread was tight and the plug wasn't all the way in. Then we might have an issue, but let's scope it and have a look. So normally I can get these out by hand, but I'm having to use the ratchet here. I can't do it with my fingers, which is unlike the other ones. Okay, let's have a little look in there. So that is the camera in there. Oh, that is. Man, it's a little bit gummed up, that thread. Nothing major. I wonder if I can switch that camera. Okay, that's the side view. Thread there. Let's have a look inside. So there's my valve, and there's the wall. We've got a lot of good cross hatch in there. Switch that again. That's forward facing on the camera. There's the top of our piston. So I have just quickly ran that thread tracer up there. And actually it's made a lot of difference. It's still not perfect like the others. You can't go all the way in by hand, but it is 90% better. So I think that thread inside that cylinder head on number 11 was just a little bit gummed up and dirty. Now just for reference, let's have a look inside cylinder number 9. Now you can see, you can undo that very easily by hand. Similar there, similar cross hatching. Let's spin that camera to front. And that's the top of the piston, which again looks pretty much the same as number 11. Next very quick check I want to do, I'm going to take each lead off, put a plug in, ground it, and just check the spark against all 6. The other thing I quickly want to do is clean up the pickup points that are in the casing and no doubt covered in oil. Well guys, I seem to be fighting a losing battle here. I'm not progressing at all. I was convinced by putting new spark plugs in, we were going to at least fix the splutter and the kind of misfire. But that hasn't made any difference despite all of the checks. So are we dealing with fake spark plugs? It seems to me unlikely because the fault hasn't changed in the slightest. So let me know your thoughts on that. Now, I thought we were going to fix that and then we're going to have a second problem with the cold start issue, which is another mystery on this car because the earlier model Testarossas like this, the 1987 car, should have warm-up regulators as far as I can find out. And they only changed the system in 1989. But this car doesn't have the warm-up regulators. So it appears that I have got a later engine. Now, I'm not exactly sure when the changeover was, but if you look at the parts manual, it clearly says, I think it's April 89. And well, the mystery could be even more deeper because I'm not convinced that this car has got its original engine. It was a very ratty car in bits, so a lot of it could have been bought afterwards. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of investigation in the background to find out if we've got the correct engine in the 87 car. This being an 87 car, we should have, as far as I can see, cold start valves in there. Now it's a bit dirty, but I can see that, and I can see that kind of auxiliary valve there, and obviously we've got the 2 metering units, but I cannot see anything like that. So maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. Maybe we've got the different engine in this car. Like I say, we're going to do some investigation on that one. Now, the other thought here is maybe we've got faulty injectors. Again, I can probably get to that one, not the middle one. It's going to be maybe a little bit, but certainly these back ones are going to be pretty tricky. So I could run some tests on that. We've got the cold start valves here and various other components. Now, this being basically two mirrored setups, there is a possibility I could change a few bits from that side to that side, things like the coil packs as well. All of it is interchangeable. So maybe we do a bit of that before throwing any money at the car. But here's the other thing. As you saw, we've got a little bit of an oil leak at the bottom and a lot of oil coming out here. So I need to take off all this transfer case. If you look at the oil anyway, it's really, really dark and dirty. We need to top it up. And this car takes 15.5 litres. Can you believe it? So we're going to change that as well. But with all the issues that we're facing currently on this car, the fact that we got to do the cam belts, oil change, access a load of that stuff, I'm very tempted to drop the engine out of this car. But we've got a dilemma of how we're going to do that. So if anyone's got any brilliant ideas, doesn't matter how crazy they are, drop them in the comments below and we'll figure it out, hopefully for the next video. In the meantime, I'm going to go away, do some research, try and figure out what is going on with this car, what the next step is to get this car healthy and driving great again back on the road. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, check out today's video sponsor, Giraffe Tools, and that awesome pressure washer, which should be in every single garage. In the meantime, guys, you can also check out what I get up to on a daily basis on my socials, where I do crazy stuff around this place. And I will see you all in the next video. Stay safe and ciao for now.